When my dad passed away a couple years ago, he was super proud of me. I don't mean the kind of generic pride that a father would have of his children. I'm talking about the kind of pride that an immigrant father with little formal education would have if his youngest son became a physician. The only problem is, I don't actually have an MD. Mind you, it wasn't for lack of trying. I'd entered university with the intent to become a doctor, but my disdain for organic chemistry sobered me to the fact that sports science and performance were my true passions. So I switched my career path and eventually earned a PhD in kinesiology. Despite many attempts to clarify, my dad never seemed to fully grasp that my PhD didn't make me a medical doctor. As you might expect, this misunderstanding made me the punchline of a running joke in my family. Mike, the fake doctor. Little did we all know that my dad may have actually been onto something. You see, unbeknownst to even myself, I've been prescribing medicine for years. Medicine is the practice of maintaining and restoring health through the treatment of illness. I do this daily despite not being a physician. It's only recently that I've come to recognize just how powerful my medicine is. My medicine has been proven to be an effective treatment for over 30 of our most common diseases. It can slow or even reverse cognitive decline. It drives neurogenesis and is highly effective treating Alzheimer's, Huntington's, multiple sclerosis, and Parkinson's disease. It is critical in the management of obesity and other metabolic disorders such as diabetes. In fact, it's the only known cure for type 2 diabetes. It can help lower cholesterol, hypertension, and reduces cardiovascular disease. It's proven to be an effective treatment for anxiety, depression, stress, and even schizophrenia. In fact, it's twice as effective treating clinical depression as general practice care. It's effective against pulmonary diseases such as bronchial asthma and cystic fibrosis. It reduces, reverses, or eliminates the impact of musculoskeletal disorders such as osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, and back pain. It's the only known effective intervention for age-associated loss of muscle mass. My medicine has an astounding impact on cancer prevention and treatment. It suppresses tumor cell proliferation, reduces metastases, and drives cancer cell death. It reverses side effects and makes traditional cancer therapies more effective. It more than doubles your rate of survival for colon, breast, and prostate cancer. For COVID-19, my medicine reduces the likelihood of infection, reduces the severity of symptoms, reduces the likelihood of and length of stay in a hospital, and reduces the rate of mortality. It does this independently of age, sex, smoking history, and measures of obesity. My medicine does all of this with no known side effects. I'm a performance and fitness coach. My medicine is movement. Movement is medicine. Now, before we discuss the specifics of movement, let's take a moment to look at what happens when you don't take your proverbial medicine. It's not hyperbolic to say that a sedentary life is just a softer way of saying slow death. You lose quality and quantity of life. Youth offers us a free trial to health and functional capacity. But if we want to keep those as we age, we have to pay the subscription fee. And that comes in the form of physical activity. When you don't, you lose the ability to do things like play with your children, carry the groceries in from the car in a single trip, or negotiate stairs without risk of falling. Research indicates that a physically active 70-year-old has the same functional capacity as a sedentary 40-year-old. And if missing out on life while still alive wasn't enough, the CDC says that 8% of all deaths in a given year can be attributed to physical inactivity. That's a higher percentage than the number of deaths attributed to unintentional accidents, transportation-related accidents, and suicides combined. This is because inactivity is known to be the primary cause of at least 35 of our most common chronic diseases, ranging from hyperlipidemia to congestive heart failure. So let's talk about movement medicine, what it does, what we need, and how much we need of it. Physical activity triggers what I call endogenous medicine, the release of things like hormones and cytokines that initiate and direct structural adaptation and repair. They also make us happy and feel good too. Although I've talked about movement medicine as a single entity, in reality, the benefits of prevention and treatment of different conditions are specific to the amount and the kind of the medicine that you take. This is similar to traditional medicines. We don't expect aspirin and Viagra to have interchangeable outcomes. Likewise, we would be foolish to think that all kinds of exercise or movement have the same outcomes on our body. And this speaks to the fact that we need to take a balanced approach. With traditional medicine, there is an obvious hierarchy ranging from simple over-the-counter drugs to more potent alternatives such as prescription medicines. This also holds true with movement medicine. Simply moving more is like over-the-counter medications. They're analogous to each other. Basic activities like walks to the bathroom, folding laundry, even fidgeting account for what is known as non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or NEAT. Manual and agricultural workers, like my 95-year-old still actively farming grandfather-in-law, have very high NEAT values. There's a good chance your friend who maintains a healthy body weight despite eating like a horse does too. This is because NEAT values have been shown in research to account for as much as 2,000 calories per day. And frequent movement reduces metabolic syndromes, cardiovascular events, and all-cause death. Now let's talk about the prescription strength version of movement, and that's exercise. This is a subcategory of physical activity that is planned, structured, and purposeful with the intent of improvement of one or more qualities of physical fitness. It turns your body into a pharmaceutical dispensary that no corner drugstore could ever match. Much like prescription medicine, it can be effective even in small doses. In fact, the research indicates that as little as 3 minutes of hard exercise per day can impact health metrics like VO2 max and fat metabolism by as much as 28 and 49% respectively. The current understanding of movement medicine tells us that we need to get about 150 minutes of physical activity per week. More specifically, I'd recommend 4 key things. First, resistance train at least 2 times per week. Recently challenged muscles are our primary in-house pharmaceutical dispensary to release the very same types of medicines that pharmaceutical companies put into pill form for the treatment of chronic diseases. Second, do something that gets your heart rate elevated for 20 minutes, 2 times per week. Among other benefits, this improves cardiovascular function, lowers blood pressure, and helps control blood sugar. Third, take a couple minutes each day and do some yoga, stretching, or basic body care. And finally, seek out opportunities in your day-to-day life to move rather than excuses not to. Park further away. Take the stairs rather than the elevator. Bike instead of drive. Now, I know what many of you are probably thinking. You don't have the time or the money to do what I'm suggesting. You're not alone, but you're also likely wrong. The CDC has surveyed millions of Americans. They found that the average adult has 5 hours of free time each day, spends 3 of it staring at a screen, and devotes less than 20 minutes to physical activity. And if you think fitness is too expensive, consider the alternative costs of a sedentary lifestyle. Loss of functional capacity, more doctor's visits, prescription drugs. And how much do you spend on those streaming services that are eating away at your opportunity for physical activity? Now compare that to the low or no cost options available to you for physical fitness. The bottom line is, we all need to be physically active, and we all have the time and the money to do it. We just need to value it enough to make it a priority. Modern medicine has done wonders for humanity, but perhaps its primary accomplishment is putting a Band-Aid on issues that would be best prevented through an active lifestyle. Inactivity causes a slow death and creates problems that traditional medicine struggles to address. It's clear that if physical activity in general and exercise in particular could somehow be put into pill form, it would be the single most widely prescribed and beneficial medicine in the world. I challenge you to spend time moving every day and to view movement as essential to your body. It doesn't need to be overly time-consuming or strenuous. Simply moving more can have life-changing effects. My dad passed away mistakenly proud that I'd become a medical doctor. At first a joke, I've since come to recognize the impact of what I provide and how it rivals or potentially exceeds that of any physician. The scientific evidence is overwhelming and points to the fact that my dad was more correct than we all gave him credit for. Once you have a similar epiphany, you'll recognize that movement, in conjunction with a healthy diet and adequate sleep, should be the foundation of our health and wellness. And they will give us an opportunity to treat our most chronic and deadly conditions. Movement is indisputably beneficial and likely the only form of medicine that is accessible to all, works in dosages small and large, and whose outcomes are actually better than advertised. I want to finish by saying I'm a doctor who prescribes medicine, but I'm not a medical doctor. Always make sure you consult a physician before beginning a physical activity routine, ideally one who understands the power of movement medicine. Thank you.